Hey there, thanks for checking out this short video. This is going to be one of these videos where what do you do when there's nothing going on? I was downtown today in Appleton on College Ave and it was just slow. It was a Monday. There's just nothing happening. And so this is one of these examples where you have to try to find stuff when there's nothing going on. What's interesting when there's not much going on. So I picked my keepers here. I parked in the parking ramp, which I don't normally do. And so this is right behind College Ave, our main street. And I happened to catch this construction worker, which I thought was kind of cool. And I just really like the hat, the cigarette. And so I kind of want to get people into this part right here. The issue is the sun is obviously coming down really bright right here. So we got to bring those highlights down. Then the issue becomes, do I want to keep this crop? Do I want this to sort of be here? Is that storytelling? Or do I really just want to get into him like this? And then, what is this? I'm not really sure. Right now I'm a little confused about that. I kind of like a little sliver of black. Something like that. And then maybe bring the shadows down so we really isolate him. Bring the vibrance up. Kind of really want that yellow to pop. Sometimes when I'm only working with one color, I go to hue, saturation, lubricants, and I pick the little tool that'll just work on yellow and green and just give those a bump and leave everything else alone. And this one just, it's one of these things where sometimes I'll alter. Black and white just isn't going to work. I need people to go in here. This, I'm almost thinking that I might try a linear gradient. Something like that, just to bring it down just a tad more and kind of get people in here, because I will go towards the brightest thing, and if the brightest thing is up here, they're gonna go right into this guy right here. So that's okay. This is one of these now where it is daylight savings. We just had daylight savings a little while ago. So even when it's, just before lunch, the sun just doesn't get high enough. So, here's when I take advantage and do some Vivian Maier kind of self-portraits. All these signs laying next to a building because they're doing some construction on a big, used to be an office building, and now it's, now they're turning into condos. So, I put myself over the stop part, and this won't really take a lot of work. I forgot to go back and do some texture. Just pop that a little bit like that. Okay. So just do something like that. I thought that was kind of interesting. Just all these signs. Nothing special, but put yourself in the picture and maybe it becomes a little more interesting. This, I would have loved if the sign and him would have been a little closer. My idea with this was to go for orange and orange. And I just don't think it's going to work. Like if I had another orange here, like I'm counting on the viewer connecting these two together. And I just think they're too far apart to be effective. So I'm not really going to worry about this. Here's another self-portrait with me. I kind of like the idea because it says keep out, and I wanted to sort of put myself in that. And this is kind of distracting, so I have two choices. I can do this. Let's just make it 8 by 10, which is okay. Or I can actually do a combination and maybe do the black and white, which I kind of like. Except for maybe I would go back to the original and kind of leave it like that maybe. I don't know. Something like that. And maybe give it a little bit more on the white. Bring the shadows. Oh, I can't lose the keep out. So I can't bring the shadows like that, which I normally like to do on these self-portraits with my shadow, but I need people to see the keep out. So that's okay. Pretty easy. I like it in black and white. This I liked. It I don't know if it's hard to see or not, but the blue on the top of this and the blue and the bike are pretty close to a match. And that's kind of what I was going for. They're really close. I'm really surprised that it's not a real popular shade of blue. It's like a baby blue. And they're actually very close to one another. Very surprised. Little vibrance, little saturation. This is one of these where it's a 1 point, so I'm kind of being picky about where the middle is. Something like that maybe. But, I don't know. It's okay. I think it needs something a little more. But I do like the idea of the blue and the blue very, very close together, but probably not going to work. Okay, this is one of these where, man, this had so much potential. It's one of these where it's just, if it was busy, if there was more going on, it's kind of interesting. It's missing a couple of things. I'd love to have a guy just here. That would have been great. And then maybe or someone in the coffee shop, like right here. Here's a reflection of the Performing Arts Center right behind me. But, or something in here as well. Like it's just missing. There's this big open space here, and I need, if there was just one person here, it'd be good. Or if there was somebody here and somebody here, like it's one of these things when there's just nobody around. The workers probably on the roof, who knows where. It's okay. I love this brick wall though of this coffee shop on the corner. That's kind of neat. But it's one of those where it had so much potential, but just wasn't there. This was neat. When I walked by, the first thing I saw was how these pumpkins were being hit by the sun. First thing I want to do is correct that, and then I don't know. I kind of want the name of the store Rye to not be in it. I want it to be more about the pumpkins, and then my shadow in it. I kind of like that. I'm going to bring these highlights down. Maybe bring the temperature down just a tad. Don't know if I want the shadows up. Kind of want the shadows down a little bit because, again, here's where I want people to see kind of this. And then the other thing I could do, of course, if I really wanted to, I could use a little mask work in here and maybe just bring people's attention to those pumpkins a little bit more, like that. And I think that works pretty well. Yeah, the crop's okay. And just add a little bit of vibrance. And I kind of like that. I like that pop of orange too. I'm wondering if we went to that slider, we just really brought the orange up like that. Kind of like that. Yeah, that looks kind of good actually. And then lastly, this side of the street faces south, so when it gets sunny, you get this. And I had a couple things. I just like the way this light was hitting her. Let me kind of straighten this out a little bit and maybe change this to 8x10 and just kind of get right in there. Highlights down a little bit. Again, I want to bring the shadows down because I want her to pop. That's the whole idea. And again, black and white is okay, but I do like this green and this blue kind of popping. So the only thing that's kind of distracting is this truck right here. The white, your eye kind of goes to that. I did do another one like this, where I made it a little bit more storytelling with the whole sign, Copper Rock Coffee Company. Just a side note, this is my favorite coffee shop in Appleton. I go here a lot. They're really great people. They sell my street photography in a print rack there and some of my books, and just really nice place to go and sit and relax and have some tea and enjoy a good photo book. So I got to get these highlights under control, and then something like this. This is kind of the issue here. This this couch down here. So I think I'm going to linear gradient potentially just a little bit. And then again, the shadows. Oops. Let's bring the shadows. You know, that's interesting because of that hair right there. I like how that's being lit too. And if you bring the shadows up, you see it gets too busy. I kind of like that right there. Bring the texture up. Kind of like the black and white actually. That's a toughie. Give me your thoughts. Black and white or color? I do like the fact that it's almost monotone except for her green and her blue and things like that. I'm going to bring the green and the aqua. I want that to pop. But I do, man, the shadows here. Huh. I like that kind of. I don't know. And then the question becomes, do I want... Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the whole sign in there. I actually like that better than this. This doesn't really do much for me, actually. I think I like this. The question will be black and white or color. That's one of the only colors that everything is pretty, almost two-toned, and then that. So I think I will leave it in color. So that is not going to work. So this was a rough one. This was, and you can see, thanks to daylight savings time, I was able to do these self-portraits via Vivian Maier kind of stuff. I kind of like those. I wouldn't print them out. I wouldn't sell them in an art show, but in an upcoming book in a year or two, I could see me doing something with those. So that was the struggle, an hour, and there's just not a lot going on. You just have to do the best you can, take advantage of what you have. And in this case, I had very low sun in the sky. So I just concentrated on doing self-portraits and finding myself in pictures, setting things up and putting my shadow in it. So, and then I got a couple other things that were okay. So hope that helps you out. Hope that entertained you and get a thought process behind my head, what's going on. Hit the streets, take some shots. We'll see you soon with another video. Thanks. Bye-bye.